Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another video. My name is Tom. Thank you so much for joining me here. It's been quite a while since I've uploaded a video, and I promise you there's a reason for that. But first and foremost, I'm actually here at a DC fast charger. I am here back at my, I guess you can call it my home DC fast charging location. This is in Greenville, South Carolina, over here by the Sam's Club. There's 4 charging stalls out here. I'm sitting inside the car because it's incredibly windy outside, and the first attempt at shooting this video literally was overcome by wind noise, and I don't have my microphones with me. There's actually a funny story as to how I got here, so let me begin by telling you this since I have some time to go. I'm about an hour or so away from home. I was heading back from North Carolina. I went to go to the range, do some time and practice at the range, and honestly, Super Cruise was doing its thing on the freeway, and I missed my exit to the point where I realized about 15 miles south of where my exit was, where I really was. I wasn't using GPS or anything. I typically just follow the signage, and I missed the signage, and I realized that I started seeing signs for Greenville and for Greenville Spartanburg Airport, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in the wrong spot. Immediately I put on CarPlay, immediately I put on the map, and I realized that to turn around and go back to where I needed to go back, I would literally run out of juice. My car was flashing, low and all that jazz. Right now, it's got average 24, minimum 19 miles. It was about as close to zero as you can get. In fact, my drive from my house to the shooting range in North Carolina and then back roughly eats about 85% of capacity. When you charge to 80%, I did not have a full charge on this car. In fact, you could see here that I drove, let me move it a little bit, 174.4 miles with an average of 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. If we look over here, you can see that I consumed about 53.2 kilowatts across 174 miles, or kilowatt hours, I should say. So I missed my exit. I made the judgment call to come to this charging facility because this is the only DC fast charging facility that I've ever been to. This is my 3rd time here. This is the only one where all four stalls have consistently worked without a problem. I'll put the address of this place down below. If you're coming up the 85 or driving around Greenville on the 385, this is your place. If you're driving an EV, you're going to want to stop here. These are 350 kilowatts. This one here is 350. I think there's a slower one. There's also a Chatham one. All of them are online. All of them are working. At least to the point where, you can do the thing and start a charge. I didn't plug into all of them, but the app says they're working. And typically, you just have to, kind of go by what the little display tells you. All of them are working. All of them are relatively new. This station is relatively new. I think it opened about a year or 14, 15 months ago. I don't know. But I remember when I did the first site review here, I actually looked up the manufacturing date of these, I guess you can call them EVSEs or whatever. And they were relatively new. This site has been, without a doubt, a solid... Wow, it's really windy out there. It's been a really solid experience. And right now I'm pulling about 41 kilowatts. It started at about 35, 36, somewhere in there. But I'm at a very low state of charge, and it is slowly creeping up. So hopefully this will be somewhere around 50, maybe 52 or so by the time, it ramps up a little bit. I've only been charging for 8 minutes. So yeah. What can I say? Oh, these are balanced chargers. In fact, up here in the corner, right there, it tells you it's a balanced charger, which means that, you know, this and that stall will effectively balance out the charging rates. That's what I gather. It doesn't tell you much of anything else, how it's configured or any of that. But like I said, I've been here several times. There's a bunch of restaurants around here. There's Chick-fil-A over there. I know I drove past the P.F. Chang's getting here, over there. Yeah, there's a couple of places. There's actually some hotels around here too, so if you're in the area and you need this place to stay, you can charge your vehicle. I think that's a Hampton Inn. Somebody's ripping it over there, probably on the freeway. But, you know, there's a Walmart there, Sam's Club right here. When I say over there, it's literally in this building on the end of it is the Walmart. And it's definitely a much better experience than the Columbia one. The one in Columbia was so bad. In fact, my intention is this weekend to make it down there because it's been about 4 weeks since I've been down there. I've read horror stories still to this day about that charger, or that charging facility, I should say. So whenever I have the time, I'll charge this car to 100%, because to make it down there, and if I can't charge, I have to be able to drive the 70 or so miles, 75 miles or so back. So I'll need to plan that out. But I'm going to go down, actually, you know, check it out, talk to some of the people that are charging there, see how their experience is, and if able to, I'll charge too. That site is 4 stalls. This site is 4 stalls. I don't personally think 4 stalls is enough, especially being this close to the freeways. 2 major freeways, the 85 and the 385, come right through here. About, I don't know, a third of a mile in that direction are the exits and entrances for both freeways. So I think this should be a very, very large site. And I personally think it should not be this close to Sam's Club. I'd rather see it, you know, out that way somewhere where it's a little bit away from, you know, people trying to get in and out of these stores. There's one issue that I have with this site that I don't think I shared previously. I might be wrong, but if I did, I'm sorry. There's a lot of truck traffic coming. You know, this is like Sam's Club's a warehouse store, so big boxes, think Costco, and there's always pickup trucks or some kind of vehicles here that literally take up a lot of space, and sometimes they're even pulling out right here in this little road, and you can't get to these stalls without first waiting until, you know, the road clears out. And that part I don't like. I wish that it was more, you know, out of the way a little bit, maybe further up this parking row, and double the size. I think 8 chargers would be great here, especially if all of them are as solid as this one is. I've used these 2. So this one that's over here, you can kind of see over my shoulder. That one I've used, this one I've used, and both of them have been solid. Yeah, this thing's now creeping up to 42 kilowatts, so we were just at 41, so it's actually doing its fair share. I need to get up to about 50%, so I'm just going to let this roll for a while longer, and then, you know, head home. Literally, I missed my exit, and so I ended up having a DC fast charge at just before midnight. What else? Let's see. I'm using the Electrify America Pass. I think it's the Pass Plus. So, I am paying, I think this is 36 cents. No idle fees, no session fees. And, you know, I've already collected about, I don't know, let's say 35 miles of charge in 13 minutes for $2.88. So that's still less than a gallon of gasoline in this area. So a gallon of gas is about 305 right now here in South Carolina. I want to say that's average, because around where I live in Union, it's about 290, 295, somewhere in there. It just depends on where you go. If you go to the Walmart, to the Murphy's, what is it, Murphy's? Yeah, I think it's Murphy's. I typically get diesel there for Kubo, but I remember, I don't know, about 4 days ago, I think I went to go get diesel, and it was $2.92 a gallon. So for $3.23, I have an average of 40 miles. So that's what, about 2 gallons of gas? Yeah, I don't know where you can get 2 gallons of gas for that price. It still makes sense. Financially, economically, it still makes sense. The problem is actually, let's talk about that. Let me roll this up for a minute, because there's music and stuff out there, and I don't want to get a strike against this video. I have friends in California, lots of EV friends, EV, drivers, who have been complaining, I guess you could say, or just sharing with me the details of the state of the CCS, the charging nightmare that has become, that CCS has become in recent months. Especially around holidays, like, this video is being shot, it's 10 minutes before the Saturday before Memorial Day. And it's one of those things where, there's lots of traffic. California's always been heavy traffic, but you can imagine that with a lot of EVs everywhere, you're going to have even more traffic. And some of these charging facilities are just not working. In fact, earlier today, one of my buddies, he sends me a text message saying, Electrify America has a broad outage. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, how is that possible? In my mind, these things should unlock. If there's a network outage, if there's a problem communicating with the back office, the billing system or whatever, these things should just open up. This should be free charging all around. I've always believed that. There's no reason for customers to suffer because of something that engineers at Electrify America can't get right. And I've always believed that if this should lose connectivity to the cellular network or whatever network these guys connect to, I'm pretty sure it's cellular, they should literally just unlock and be free charging. Free charging for everybody, because that would prevent people from having to sit on the phone, people from having to complain, argue, stress out about, oh my God, where am I going to get my my charge from, or how am I going to get to my point B, with this thing not able to take a card, or the screen's not working, or whatever. In the event of any sort of mechanical or system failure, this thing should become a free-for-all. That's my opinion, because that is the only way that you're going to guarantee that people like Electrify America will get off their butt and actually service their stations proactively. Come out weekly or whatever, have a regional team of engineers that takes care of these sites. You wouldn't have the issue you had that we've witnessed in Columbia, South Carolina, a month ago when we went down. You wouldn't have issues of people lining up all the way up to the road to try to charge their vehicle when the chargers aren't working, because there's no sign at the road that says chargers down or whatever. There's no way to indicate to the users, or an on-screen message that comes up saying, hey, just so you know, all 4 of those chargers are either A, in use, or B, dead. You don't have that. We do not have that. But we do have, like, truck stop signs that tell you what the price of gas is out there. So there's a lot to be left. There's a lot left to be said, actually, because we have a lot of unknowns. Range anxiety is real. People are trying to do the best they can to manage, their lifestyle around charging their vehicles, and not everybody has a level 2 charger at home. So there are lots of people that rely on this right here. And if they can't, or if they find that every time they go someplace they have to be on the phone, like I was in Colombia for 25 minutes I was on the phone with that woman. It doesn't make sense. Just like you wouldn't roll into a gas station, pull up to a pump that's bagged, you know how they put the bag on the nozzle when it's dead, and then call Shell or Exxon or whatever and complain like, hey, your nozzle isn't working, here's the pump number, can you fix it? No, you just need you need to be able to pull around and find something else. And if there's a mechanical failure or a logic failure or something's wrong with this box and there's power, like if the power's on but this thing isn't working the way it should, then this should unlock and it should just pour power out into any CCS connected vehicle that plugs that it plugs into. That's my opinion, because that's the only way. When you make Electrify America pay for the electricity that's coming out of this EVSE here, I guess you can call this an EVSE, right? It's a supplier. The charger's in the car, right? Or is this the charger? I don't know. It's all like blurry in my head right now. Also, it's about midnight and I've been up for way too long. So don't hold me to what I'm babbling about with the terms, but I really do believe that I see a great benefit from there being that kind of a system in place. So if it can't communicate to the billing system, boom, it's unlocked. Free power. If it can't talk to Electrify America servers for whatever reason, boom, it's unlocked. Until they fix it. Until they fix it. And that's the only way that you'll I think personally, that's the only way that you will find that the level of accountability will increase. Not complaining, not opening up tickets, because that's useless. We found that out in Columbia, South Carolina, a month ago. I called them. They told me that they put in a ticket and that somebody was dispatched, or an engineer was dispatched. And then I said, well, what does that mean? Are they going to be here like now or within 2 hours? They said, no, it could be between now, between the next 2 hours and, 3 days? 3 days. 3 days when you're sitting here with a dead battery in front of a charger that doesn't charge? Like, this isn't like the time where you pick up the phone and call AAA for a gallon of gas or whatever to get you to the next gas station. Because unless somebody has a business around here where they got a truck with a diesel generator on the back of it, where you can call them and say, hey, I'm stranded here and here, can you charge me up? And they pull up and they plug in a CCS nozzle into your EV and they fire up one of those Cummins diesel generators that will generate, 50 amps of 240 volts. Although that might be an interesting business idea now that I think about it. Anyway, the point is that this site, super reliable. Electrify America needs to get on their game. I'm seeing more and more videos about the Electrify America, or just CCS in general, being just a garbage system. Elon's obviously doing stuff right. The Tesla charging network has always been superior, and now with it being opening up to CCS users via the Tesla adapter, super, absolutely super, because there needs to be this kind of stuff, with companies that just don't seem to care about, the drivers or the users of the networks. That's got to go. That's like, it just has to go. I'm not trying to be belittling or demeaning or whatever, but it just has to go. This world has enough problems on its hands. This should not be one of them. So, Anyway, do you guys hear that? Every fan just turned on in this car. That's the first time I've ever heard of that. Yeah, the cooling system's ripping now. We're 42 kilowatt charging. Yeah, it's literally, I thought it was this at first, but it's the car. I am about 2/3 of the way done to my charge, almost at 30%. So anyway, I'm gonna quit yapping. I'm gonna finish this off. I'm gonna try to do more videos like this. I've had a lot of family stuff happen in the last month. In fact, way too much family stuff happening. It's also the end of my son's school year. This is Memorial Day weekend. We're on Saturday officially. It's midnight. And I just wanted to say I'm sorry for not putting more time into the content and editing and creating videos. It's just been it's been a bear. I uploaded one video and I thought, yay, I'm back, and then turns out no, I'm not back because something else hit the fan. Also, Duchess got sick. She got some kind of a bacterial infection, and she hasn't been right. Only in the last few days has she been starting to be her normal self again. So the antibiotics that we ran for, there was one set of antibiotics that we ran for the first 2 weeks. It made her a little bit better. When we stopped that regimen, because it was a 2-week regimen, she went right back to it. She had a hard time breathing. She was coughing a lot, and she also had incredible episodes of reverse sneezing. If you guys have a dog, if you guys have a pet, and you know when that pet gets sick, you know that your world stops spinning for the duration of however long your pet is sick. So between Dutchie, between the stuff in my family, between the end of the school year, between everything else that's happening, it took me doing a wrong turn on the freeway, or missing my exit, I should say, to get a video out in the middle of the night. So I hope you guys understand. I'm very sorry. I know I've looked at my stats on YouTube, and I think I've lost 30 subscribers in the last 2 weeks alone, and then I think 30 more before then. So I'm down 60 some odd subscribers in the last month, which really hurts the old heart. But I understand. It's the way of the world, and I'm going to try to make it up now. I'm going to try to, dust the cameras off again and do my trips and do some charging site reviews, because I really got to just get back to living life and keep these guys on their toes, Electrify America and whatnot. Get some videos going and let them see their own mistakes, I should say. So I'm going to let this roll for about another, 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to rest for a little bit because I am exhausted, but then I am going to head home. So I really appreciate you guys sticking around. Thanks so much for listening to me yap. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, go down in the comments and leave me your thoughts there. But until next time, thank you always for being there, and thank you so much for watching. Take care, and happy Memorial Day weekend. Bye-bye.